right, so I got a lot to say and not a lot of time to say it. December 14th, 2004, I was 14. My brother had stolen a car and checked into a hotel. Started off the night with a story about mental illness. It doesn't stop. He put a tank of compressed air in a microwave and blown up half the hotel room and tried to hang himself from the ceiling fan. The ceiling fan gave way and conked him out. He had contacted my youth pastor at the time saying he needed help. And my dad and I followed him and were staked out in the parking lot of this hotel. And somehow, between the hotel and the hospital, he had found out that my dad and I were with him. And he started to run when we got there. And my dad is a stout man. He could bench press me, but I can run faster than him. My youth pastor was the same way, just minus the bench pressy part. And I realized very suddenly that I was the only person that had a snowball's chance in hell of catching my brother. And so I started to run. And we ran through Dallas for I don't know how long. I think after the fact we measured the distance at about 6 miles at almost a full sprint. And the whole time my brother was rambling on and on about coherent things and incoherent things. And at one point he looked back and told me that it was him against the world. And I yelled that I was trying to make it us against the world. And he stopped for a second and then started running again. And he eventually got to one of the highways through Dallas, I don't remember which one, and he climbs the concrete barrier, took his shirt off and put his arms out, and just looked at the headlights coming towards him. So I climbed over, and I walked up to him, and he didn't run anymore. He was done. And I asked if this is how it was supposed to end, and he said yes. So I did the only thing that a younger brother learns to do when resolving conflict with his older brother, and I punched him as hard as I could in the face. And it dazed him enough that he went down, and I dragged him off the highway, and then a couple minutes later after wrestling, my dad caught up, and we struggled for a minute, and a bus driver had pulled up, and he had seen a shirtless, bleeding man being wrestled by two not-so-shirtless, not-so-bleeding men, and thought he was going to be a hero and intervene. And we explained to him what happened, and he opened the bus door, and we took him to Parkland Hospital. And we got to Parkland Hospital, went into the entrance where Kennedy was taken in, and as soon as I let go of my brother and the doors came and closed behind him, I looked through this little tiny window of reinforced glass, and I saw him sitting there. His arm was bleeding down one side. He had rope burn around his neck. He was peppered with glass, and he just had this no-account look on his face, and he was done. And about that time, my body started reminding my head that I had just sprinted 6 miles and wrestled with a mentally ill man, hell-bent on ending his own life, and it started to hurt. So I remember falling into the bushes next to the door and crying and vomiting and just kind of twitching out. And I would love to tell you that my brother's all better now, and he's not. And he's my brother, and I love him, and that hurts.